I'm looking at you, like, I'm already in the motherland. I'm in Africa. Like, when I'm looking at you, like, that's what I feel. Like, for real.
Oh, man.
That energy and that vibe that you are transferring and bringing, that you have brought back. Man.
Yes, ma'am.
What has been going on with you lately? Because your life has changed dramatically within the last few years, right? With the work that you're doing, and just who you are as a woman, who you are as a mother, who you are as a sister friend, and just overall, like, you are leading the life that you want to lead, doing it your way, but you're committed to God's plan for you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I would like to say that the theme is identity crisis. For me, 3 years ago, I faced an identity crisis, and just the answers were just not there for me. Leaving and starting over a life, and there was like this blank canvas. I was this hollow shell of a body, and there needed to be purpose. And it wasn't until I decided to take that initial step of just saying, okay, I may not have all the answers, but I'm going to step out on faith, where I started having pieces to the puzzle somewhat be revealed to me, and Africa was one of them.
Did you ever dream of going to Africa? Or like, did you already know that, like, one day this is something that I'm going to do? Or is it because of your journey, that's what led you to that?
I want to say my journey landed me there quicker. I knew that I was going to go to Africa at some point. I just didn't know when. But I don't think it was until I wrote it down and I put it on a vision board, where it happened months later, where I'm then planning for my trip to Africa, which was last year.
And what I know about you and what I like is that you're very intentional. And you say that you're intentional, you know, as you are sharing your daily posts with your wellness journey. Like, where does that come from, the intentionality of everything that you're doing daily?
Because I really do think that God is extremely intentional with us. Us as women, us as sisters, us as a black people, us as, you know, a collective. And I really do believe that if you're not living an intentional life, then you stand a chance of really missing out on what your purpose is in life. I am fairly new to living a full intentional life. I did not get it until my 30s. Some people get it sooner, but I'm just thankful that I got it.
So what does that look like for you on a day-to-day basis?
A day-to-day basis for me, really, I'm starting my day having a conversation with God before my feet touch the ground. I'm a podcaster, so I like to listen to podcasts, and I have a few individuals that I go to that sort of give me that daily devotion that I need to get my day started. And usually I know for sure there's like self-discipline that I have in order, that's sort of set. So
who's your go-to?
Who's my go-to?
Yeah.
So usually my go-to is Joyce Myers.
Okay.
Every morning. Every day she releases a word, and Joel Osteen is usually like my second, my runner-up every Tuesday and Wednesday and Saturday. And then T.D. Jakes is Sunday. So every day I have an opportunity to hear what the word is saying to me and how I should be moving, which breeds forth the intention type of mindset and concepts. And I know that there are just certain foundational principles that require certain types of self-discipline, and how you think about yourself, how you treat others, and how you take care of your body, and things that you should be, you know, doing as far as your purpose. And that intentional living for me is like it runs deeply in my veins, but it's necessary to me to continue to do the purpose type of life that I'm, doing these days.
Okay, so I often always ask, like, who's a woman in your life who has, like, set the tone for you as a woman? Because I know you're saying, like, I'm new to this purpose journey, but there had to have been someone in your life that you kind of look to, that inspired you to where you are now, to be the woman you are today.
So I'm going to be honest, there isn't one woman. I come from a matriarch of women. I know just one side of my family, and that's my mom's side of the family. And these women, through their lives, it created the woman that I am today. So many of their failures, many of their struggles, many of their successes, many of their, many nights of uncertainty and just trying to figure things out, learning, that is something that I don't want to become, or this is something that I do want to strive to be. That is what molded me into the type of woman that I am today. So I give it up to the women in my family, because these are strong women that have bent over backwards to ensure that, I myself knew who I was, and that I was something special, and that I shouldn't just settle.
Right.
Yeah.
I've had the pleasure, because you're my friend,
Yes.
so I've had the pleasure to be around you and your family, and most recently we had Christmas breakfast together, and it was just off the chain.
Yeah.
It was so good. So, like, your background with cooking and wellness,
Yes.
You have another title to you as a chef.
Yeah, it's just
like, what is that all about?
It's just something that I love to do since I was 13 years old. My family has a couple restaurants. One is Mr. Perkins Restaurant. That's my maiden name. And at 13 years old, I was working on the grill, so making breakfast and all, just learning the ins and outs. So it's no different from any other like family business. You just learn and you become very passionate about it. But one thing that I do recognize that many of us have is just the will to be hospitable and to be welcoming. And one way to comfort is to feed, to share a meal, to get someone to have a conversation. We're shoving a plate in your face.
Yeah. And you do that well. You do that well.
Yes. So,
Would you like something to eat?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you do that well.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what we do.
Yeah. So what's some of your favorite meals?
I want to say some of my favorite meals. I don't have. Let's just say I love seafood. I love a great casserole. I love like Tuscan salmon, like roasted garlic mushrooms and all of that. I like fresh vegetables and stuff, but my thing is seafood.
Okay. You birthed the queen.
Okay, thank you.
The baby queen.
Thank you.
Miss Riley.
Yes. Riley, she is.
Yeah.
She is everything. She's a challenge. She's
How
a
does
blessing.
she challenges you?
Oh, she challenges me in every way.
Yeah.
Every way possible. And it wasn't until a friend of mine sent me a recent video to share with me that children that are challenging, it's not that it is for them or for us to look at it as them just being challenging, but that they can feel that they can challenge an authoritative figure, then you have someone that will stand up for themselves when you're not around. And so that is something that I definitely want to instill in Riley, that she has a voice aside from me and her dad. Riley is very strong-willed, and I have to remember that this person is her own free agent. She came here with her own intents and purposes. So I may have been the vessel to like birth Riley, but she is here on her own mission, and so I have to respect that.
Yes, mother. Okay. That's what's up. That's what's up. I mean, because we don't really think about it like that, you know, often. But they are on their own mission, and we're here to guide them.
That's right, and support them.
So shifting, you know, you have this beautiful journey in this life of being a servant leader in your community.
Yes, ma'am.
You're a podcaster. You know, do wellness. You do a variety of things. What sustains you besides your relationship with God?
Because you know that was going to be my go-to. But you know, God has put some very instrumental people in my life, and my circle is just as intentional as I am. So it's somewhat like iron sharpening iron, and those that can have not the same vision or perception as you, but there is like minds and compatibility along the way, and somebody that can possibly you know, be the tribe that's going after somewhat of the same mission. You know, so I'm just really thankful for that, and that's what really sustains me, is that I'm not in this alone, and that I have others that I can rely on for support, and that I can take a break. I know that it's, you know, my health is really important, so what sustains me on a daily is taking care of myself. Because if I'm not in the best health, then I'm no good. I'm a disservice to the universe.
So what are some things that you do as far as self-care?
Lots of things. I say no.
Say that again.
I say no.
Okay.
I say no. And I work out.
And that's a big thing for women to say no.
Yes.
Yeah.
I say no, and I take lots of breaks. I go to bed at a reasonable time. It's small things. I don't eat after 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. I am, I make sure that I say thank you every day. It's just very small things that I do. I make sure I drive in silence. You know, it's like...
What does that do for you, driving in silence?
Driving in silence, it quiets my mind.
Because I like to be turned.
It quiets my mind.
Okay.
You know, when you're on your way somewhere, the first thing you want to do is, you know, possibly either turn on your music, listen to the news, listen to a podcast, or whatever. Watch a YouTube video on how to, like, educate yourself on whatever it is. We're always on. So when I get in the car, I like to be off.
Do you think that helps you be more alert to like your surroundings and what's going on?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I think tuning into all 6 senses is something that I was able to really capture when I was over in Africa, and I was able to bring that back with me. So the things that I'm feeling, you know, what I'm tasting, what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing, all of those things I try to be very sensitive to. It's necessary. And that's what leads and guides me down certain paths, so I don't take the same route.
Okay.
Also, so
interesting.
I don't. I'm sort of. I do.
I mean, I hear
purpose.
people, you know, do that, but I didn't know that about you.
Yeah, I try different because I like different things. Yeah.
And that different scenic route, like, what is that? Does that do anything for you, or that's just a ritual? That's just something that you do.
It's something that I feel is necessary because in America, or just here, when you're working the same job and you're going to the same place, it's easy to get into routine. So I try to break a routine. You know, even though I have some, maybe I don't work out in the morning, but I work out after, you know, or switch it up and try something different. So I just like variety. That's all.
Yeah,
that is
really a routine.
I'm not a routine person. There are some things that I do, but for the most part, I like to have variety.
Okay. And so, expose the podcast. You are a podcaster.
Yes, ma'am.
You wear a lot of hats. You wear a lot of hats, and it's inspiring. I know it can be challenging. But how did Expose the Podcast come about? Because many people may not know, you know, that, but you are a domestic violence advocate.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, and so how is that connected to Expose the Podcast?
Well, in order to be Exposed to Podcast, you need to have some type of history with domestic abuse. I'm a survivor of domestic abuse, not ashamed about that. And I was married to my abuser. And Laverne, her and I both, we sat on a committee through Sojourner Family Peace Center. And that was literally just our link. You know, we were somehow just linked together that way, I think, just for those purposes, for us to connect and say, okay, this is what we are here to do. It's no longer about us. It's now about prevention, education, and awareness. We are here to have those conversations, those tough conversations with our young people, because that's the preventative piece, where we can now say, once you know, you have a better understanding, you can prevent. Had we known, we could have prevented. But our journey is our journey, and that needed to happen. And it's all good, you know. So that is really how exposed.
And I like the title, Life After Abuse.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, I love that.
Yes.
Because you're showing women, and you're showing everybody, men and women, but specifically women, that there is life after abuse, and then this is how you can do it. You can enjoy life, you can live life abundantly.
There is life after abuse. It's all about your intentions. So I really try to be extremely transparent, and I try to make sure that I'm living a life that is realistic. You know, when I'm not on social media and I'm gone for days and I'm not working out, I'm not working out. You know, I'm being honest.
You're not in the gym.
I'm not in the gym.
Yeah.
I'm sleeping in. I want to get some rest. You know, so I try to be very honest and transparent with everyone, but that can be challenging at times. You know, it can be fearful.
And what I think is the cool thing about what you do with the Exposed podcast and you guys, the collaboration piece. Like I've watched you guys, and I'm around you guys, you know, sometimes I'm there when you guys are recording, and to see the collaboration between two women, and you guys vary in ages, so that generational piece is there. The collaboration is really there.
Laverne is literally like my ace. Just like, you don't realize it, but we go together. You don't realize it.
We do.
You being professional and all, but we in a relationship, and that's how it is with Laverne. It's me, Laverne, and Richard. You know, and that's one thing that you cannot fake. I appreciate Laverne for showing up and just having still like the will and the and just the passion behind it. You know, Laverne was doing this work before she met me through Let's Talk, and now her and I, we have this piece together, and it is really just taking its own. It is taking its own wings in a sense, and we're just grateful that we are able to use ourselves as a vessel to like share that. So,
and I think the beautiful thing about it too is, you know, as women, when we experience certain stuff, we come out not looking like what we experience. And that's just how God works.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, when I went to Africa, I went to Africa, and I did not, Laverne had given me her book, you know, because my co-host wrote a book.
Yes.
She
and
wrote
the
a whole
book is, I mean, if you read
it. So she wrote a book, and I wasn't ready. Like, I knew certain things about her, but I just wasn't ready for that side of it. And I took it to Africa with me, knowing that I would have the time to read it. And that's exactly what I did. And I looked at her, and I had to call her while I was in Africa, and I was like, I'm sorry. You know, but thank God you didn't give up. Because you wouldn't be in this thing with me. And so you just never know, like, the type of people that God has put in your life and what they've come from. And Laverne has come from some things, and she's overcome them. She is a true thriver. So I'm sitting and working with someone that still has some triggers. We both do. So we can really relate to each other. Like, you know, how you feel about that? Did that set you off in some type of way? And she gets it, you know? So Laverne is just amazing. I'm really thankful to God for that relationship.
You are like traveling abroad.
Yes, ma'am.
And you went to the motherland. We gotta know. You gotta give us just a peek, a snippet, because I know you're working on some things.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's so exciting to hear.
Yeah.
And we can't wait to see how that manifests with what you're doing, with your experience from Africa. But what was that like?
It was an out-of-body experience. It was like my spirit had gone before me, and I finally had caught up. You know, from the waves crashing at Cape Coast Castle, where many of the transatlantic slave trades happened, to, you know, the loud beating drums that are on the street that's just like greeting you everywhere you go, from the welcoming on the airline by the flight attendants, to the immigration officers, to welcome you with Aquaba, to the every home.
And what's the Aquaba?
Aquaba means welcome in
Okay.
Ghana.
Gotcha.
It literally means welcome.
Okay.
And so-
Aquaba.
Aquaba. Yes, ma'am.
I'm gonna practice
Welcome.
that.
Yes. And to be given a name. Monday born, I was born. So Ajua was the name that I was given. That was the name that I was addressed by. And it was like my identity crisis was becoming full circle. Right before I arrived in Africa that Tuesday, I received my DNA ancestry. And I just couldn't believe it. It just seemed, like I said, like my spirit had gone before me and I finally was catching up. But the fact that my ancestry came and it resonated so much with, I think, 85% of Western Africa. I'm 3% Ghanaian, but 44% Nigerian. And so I really felt like I was at home. I really, for the first time in my life.
Did you like know it was gonna come like that? Like, isn't that so divine how it came? And then
It is so divine. I had no idea how it was gonna come, but my only expectation for this journey was to expect nothing but the best. And that was what I experienced, was nothing but the best. So I expected to just be free and take it all in, moment by moment. And so I was greeted with that every day. So the greetings of Aquaba was at every corner, at every end where my feet treaded. So, you know, from the oceans to the seashores, everywhere that we went, it was just this aura of just welcoming, welcome back home. We've missed you, we're sorry. You know, there was lots of, you know, tears that were shedded because many Black Americans are going back home. And that's what they want. So I had no idea that that journey would be that intense. I wasn't on vacation at all. I was at school. Yes, ma'am.
That is quotable, tweetable, all that. I wasn't on vacation. I was at school.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that you are such a leader that you have decided to come home and to have your own classroom. Not for you, for your sake, but to say, okay, I need my peoples to know what's going on.
Oh, yes.
I need them to know what's going on. So, like, how are we going to get these lessons out? How are we going to get this out? What are we going to do? I think that is very admirable of you. And it just shows who you are at the core of doing your purpose work.
Yes, ma'am. There's no way that I can come back. And to this day, I'm still downloading Africa.
Because it's so much.
It's so much. When you're there a month, and the things that I've saw, smelled, tasted, felt, you know, it's hard to just like relinquish that and just jump right back into the rhythm of things.
Yeah.
So yes, I am a different person. I am a different woman, and you know, many people said that before I left.
What's different about you? I mean, I
It
can
really
say something, but what do you think?
It really, so I'm going to tell you this. What I feel is different about me is that I am extremely more appreciative of everything. When I saw how tough Africa can be and how privileged even us Black Americans are in America, even in the poorest, worst state, we're still better off.
Yeah.
So I have a greater appreciation for just even the conditions that we have here.
Okay.
I love us more.
Okay.
That was not the case prior to me going. And I think that it's necessary that I don't keep this to myself. I just want to give it away. So yes, when you say, you know, creating a space for others to come and, you know, like learn and hear about, it's not only that I would like others to come back with me. So I just have so many.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. Like, why should we go back? Like, what?
Well, you know, not everyone will go back.
Right. So why should I go back? Because I know you're snatching me up.
Yes, ma'am, you're going. Yeah. Why you should go back? I just think as a Black American, many of us are at an unrest. And I think it has everything to do with our identity. It's deeper than just, you know, what Black Americans are experiencing in America. But once your feet touch that soil, there's something that resonates with you that America can't give you. So you want to go back and get it. And whatever that it is for you, only you know that. So I know there's one soundtrack that really speaks to that, and that's the Spirit soundtrack. I think it's through Beyonce, right?
Yeah, great album.
I mean, when I say her experience, that's only an experience of someone that is Black American that have gone back. And many people will have that same experience. They feel like, okay, I can do this now, you know? And that's exactly how I feel there's work to do. There is no freedom if our people aren't really free. That's how I feel. So I feel free going back, finding out just a golden piece to the puzzle. But there are many of us that may never get back. So it's my due diligence to really provide whatever that is, because I still don't know. It's still unfolding.
Still unfolding.
It's still unfolding.
Still downloading.
Still downloading.
So much to take in and so much to pour out. So much to pour out. And so this ensemble that you have on, who made this?
Akuba's husband, Jingles, we'll call him Jingles because that's the name of the shop.
Okay.
If anyone followed me on social media, I spent a lot of time in a seamstress shop. And there were young women that were apprenticed, and they were all learning from the designer. His name is Jingles. He was actually my host while I was there. And they're in Cape Coast. He has a shop in Cape Coast. Very known seamstress. Everyone knows Jingles in town.
Okay.
In Cape Coast.
Okay.
And when I arrived, he had 3 garments for me, and this is one of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah.
I can't wait to get mine.
Yes, ma'am, because you will have plenty.
Yes, I can't wait. Where are my ensemble Jingles? Where's my ensembles? Give me my dresses.
Yes. So the purse that I brought back for you.
Yes, which I love.
Many of those purses came from the same shop that this dress was threaded in.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
And so even with that, like, you know, coming back with all of those items. I'm just jealous of that. I'm a little jelly.
Don't be jealous.
I'm a little jelly.
Because you're coming back.
But I love it though. I really love it. I know that you're still downloading, and I know that you're still processing. But we thank you. I thank you for giving us like an inside scoop. You know, like so when you were over there, it's so much different. You know, way of living. How like. As it relates to women, like, what do you appreciate more about being a woman and our strength and our resilience?
Man, as a Black woman,
yes,
I am so grateful to be born in this skin, because you see when you go back there, that's where we get it from. The woman that is, it's 100 and something degrees. She has her baby strapped to her back. She has a top of her head, any and everything that you can think of to sell. And she's out there all day from start to finish. And she's selling in the streets. To see such strength and just such determination in just cultural essence.
Yeah.
I had everything to be proud of, like, you know, this is where we get our hustle from. And so that just really resonated with me about the strength of a woman and then the strength of a Black woman. Unmatched. Unmatched.
Who gonna touch it?
No one. Nobody. So, yeah, I just look at us, just, you know, any woman that I see that looks like me, that looks like you, that's doing what you're doing, and that still has the grit and the grind, it's just, can't do nothing but just say, you can bow to that. It's all right.
And we gotta know a little bit, what was the brothers like?
Oh, the brothers was nice. They were nice. They were very...
What's something that you took away?
From the guys?
Yeah.
The guys were very accommodating. And I just wonder if you know, me being a Black American, was that the reason why they were being extremely accommodating? But those men over there, they were so respectful to everyone, to the children. They chastised children like no other. They respected the women. They looked out for the women. They cared for the women. You know, I just thought it was amazing.
So the village piece that we often talk about
is
what
it's true.
Yeah,
it is real. It is a true village. Nana Ajwa, you sit down. What would you like to eat? Can I get you something to drink? Very much just like, you know, I want to make sure that you are good. And it just wasn't with me. It was all the women there. All the women. So the men there are just very accommodating. We're an amazing people. Men are just full of strength, brute strength. They can flip over a car and fix that car and drive you to the next destination. Any and every, they cook you a meal. They can do everything. The man can do everything over there.
So how are you feeling now? Because we're in the month of Black History.
Yes, ma'am.
And so you just recently, you know, went to Africa, in Ghana. What are your thoughts now in celebrating your Black history?
I get to celebrate it every day.
Is it heightened?
It's definitely heightened. And it's nothing better than just being proud of who you really are. Like I said, prior to me going to Africa, you know, there was an identity crisis. And then there was also, you know, just not being proud of us Black Americans in America. But what I come to realize is in Africa, they may not have all the things that America have, but they have each other, they have culture, and they have the great proverbs. All of those things, their character traits are really intact. They're respectful, And they have so much more. And that was something that I really appreciated, that we can definitely stand to love ourselves more.
Yeah.
They are very prideful about who they are. And so I became prideful. Let me bring my flags out.
Yeah, take it out. Show us what you're working with.
So 44% Nigerian.
Yes.
This is the Nigerian flag.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the Ghanaian flag.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, like you see these flags everywhere, just like how we see, you know, like the American flag in places. I mean, it is just something that is so engraved into their, you know, their DNA.
It's just like a sense of belonging. Like,
Yes.
you know, that's what I'm hearing from you.
There was nothing other than feeling at home.
Mm-hmm.
There was a great welcoming, for sure. I get to go back.
You do get to go back
I get to go
as
back.
many times as you want.
That's right.
And we know you're taking people with
That's
you.
right. I'm taking
And I'm going to
people.
go with you.
I appreciate that invitation.
I'm gonna go
Coming
with
along.
you. I'm gonna go with you.